Summer is almost over, but I still wanted to go through some summer 2023 trends, specifically with a knit and crochet and sewing focus. I'll just be showing some inspiration. I don't have a lot of patterns for some of these. I would really encourage experimenting with the skills you already have and making your own versions of most of these things. I personally learned so much through trial and error, and I don't really tend to use patterns because of this. I'm also personally way too impatient to be using patterns, so I end up just freestyling most of it. I feel like it is so much more rewarding when you created something from scratch just based off an image and seeing it all come together. The first trend I want to be talking about is mesh. I am completely obsessed with the mesh and lace trend. We've seen so much of it this summer, especially when it's knit and crochet. I actually found a free pattern on Hobbii, which I think would work really well for this trend. I personally haven't used the pattern yet, but I am really keen to make one myself. So if anyone's tried it or anyone's going to try it, please do let me know how it went. I am really interested to see how that would turn out. I especially love how versatile these are. Like this one in particular has such a fun color pattern, which I guess you could achieve by working the width of the skirt rather than making your way from top to bottom or bottom to top. I also absolutely love like knitted maxi dresses in general, but the mesh style in particular is just amazing. I guess the most simple way this mesh design can be achieved is by using large needles with a really thin yarn, or just by dropping stitches as you go. If you do that, the dresses can be worked up really quickly. I especially love this really colourful one from Loopy Studio, and also these really like meshy dresses are just so cute. I made a mesh dress with some linen cotton blend yarn that I got secondhand. It's just so breathable and it folds around the body really nicely. I just wish that I had enough yarn to make it a maxi. It's just kind of turned out to be midi instead. Having said that, these knitted dresses work up really quickly. If you make a knitted top, a mesh knitted top instead, then that works up even quicker, of course. I feel like those projects are really good for when you have a yarn that you don't have a lot of. I made a few different types of meshy tops with different types of yarn. For one, I experimented with some drop stitches. I also made some backless tops. I'll show you actually. Like this is one of the mesh tops that I made that is backless. So all I had for this was one ball of yarn and I worked this up really quickly. I created a backless thing and I used a much bigger needle than I would have needed. So you can see how meshy and how flexible and stretchy this is. I also made this a while back. It's more of a jumper, but it still has that meshy feeling. They are just super comfy. This one is a bit more dense, but you can see how this is sort of mesh. Especially for the summer, these are so great as bikini cover-ups. I made a dress on my knitting machine, which was inspired by this H&M bikini cover-up dress, which I wanted to wear over bikinis or in the evenings as like a cover up, and I actually finished this day. This is how it looks. So this is super meshy. This is exactly what I was looking for, but with a bikini under it. This is super cute. And at the back just earlier, I then added a nice tie to keep it all together, because this is fairly oversized, so the tie just keeps it nice and snug so it doesn't fall off the shoulders. But I am so excited to wear this on holiday as a cover up, and especially this green, I think it's just really cute. Now, mentioning ties, I also want to talk about the ribbon trend at the moment, which I think is so easy to integrate into your knit and crochet pieces. I guess the most obvious way is through functional ties and ribbons like I just showed in the dress, things that keep your pieces together, which also make them really versatile and really great for specific fits. If you want something to be tight fitting, but you also want to be able to obviously get it over your head, if you add a ribbon and stuff, it'll be easier to put on. But then another really cute way is to add decorative ribbons that don't serve like a functionality, but they are just there to look cute. And in that case, the possibilities and what to make with them is just endless. Obviously, having mentioned the functional ties, these are really cute ways to make your pieces more breathable and more fitted to your body. But then also talking about the decorative ties, it's just such a cute little add-on to your pieces to make them stand out. Also be a bit more creative with it, I would say. The next trend I want to talk about is patchwork crochet, and I really love this trend because I love anything that has to do with using up scrap yarn, especially since I rarely buy new yarn and I usually buy everything secondhand, so a lot of the time my yarn doesn't really match and it's very difficult sometimes to find projects to work on. So these trends are perfect for that. Now, a lot of these projects are made with cotton yarn, and I don't tend to work with cotton yarn that much. I've recently started to dabble in the cotton yarn a little bit. Unfortunately, because of that, I don't have a lot of cotton scraps to create pieces like this. Like I said, I am now working more with cotton yarn, so once I do have enough scraps, I would definitely be making this. I actually once started a similar project inspired by this jacket, for which I used a really large amount of scraps, but for that I used up a range of different yarn types and scraps to work it up. I did actually halfway through run out of scraps, which I never thought would happen. So it has kind of been sitting in my whips for a while. I also just think it does look a lot better when it is cotton yarn. Luckily, this project that I have started will be a jacket, so the yarns that I use, like acrylic and different wool type blends, will be warmer, so for the jacket it works. But if we are applying this trend to the summer season, then cotton yarn would obviously be the preferred choice for this. I think we have all seen this flower crochet pattern. It's been all over TikTok in the last sort of couple years. I personally associate it most with the artist Rose Swan. I feel like I'm going to be saying her name wrong, but you'll know who I mean. I can't lie, I have been getting a little bit tired of seeing it, especially because the typical flower crochet top has been so popular on TikTok. I have recently seen a few more original takes on that trend, which made me a little bit more excited about all the different possibilities with that trend. I think the key to making it stand out more is to create a wider variety of crochet stitches instead of just that classic flower pattern. There are so many options, and Pinterest keeps sending them my way of all the different patterns that you can be making instead to make it stand out a bit more. This is just my personal take. I do think those tops are super cute. I just wish I hadn't consumed so much of that specific content for the crochet flower vest. Now, like I said, I have been really inspired by the different variations people have been making, so I made my own version of this trend, and it is a spin on the classic flower pattern, just making it a bit more varied. I made this vest and it has all sorts of different granny stitches, flower stitches. You can see here I made a flower, and down there the green, at the back in the yellow, and then the rest is just this interesting granny stitch. Now I know this is kind of completely different to the original flower pattern that has been trending, but it's nice to be inspired by things like that and give it your own twist. The next trend I want to talk about is Bandeau tops, and it almost feels wrong labeling this as a trend because I do think it's just a summer staple. It's timeless. It will always look amazing. In terms of knit and crochet, I tend to usually see these as crochet pieces in a variety of different styles. However, these never work for me. I'm a size double D, and crochet bandeau tops have always been a huge issue for me sizing wise. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. I have considered making a top inspired by this sort of bandeau, which seems slightly more adjustable, and the way it's crochet width wise rather than top to bottom makes me think that it will have more stretch. The amount of time I've wasted on trying to make these types of tops seems to have traumatized me enough to never want to try crocheting a bandeau top ever again. So with that being said, I have seen these knit bandeau tops instead, and I feel like they are a nice alternative to the crochet versions because they will have a lot more stretch, and especially this like stripy design just looks really cute and definitely something that I will be more inclined to wear myself. The last trend I want to talk about is upcycling. Now this is very broad, and I will specify exactly what kind of upcycling I mean. One thing in particular I can never get enough of is A-line mini dresses. They are just the perfect shape for my body type. I saw this TikTok creator upcycle old men's shirts and make them into these really cute short-sleeved A-line mini dresses. I know a lot of people are commenting and saying they look like school uniforms, but I personally never had to wear school uniforms, so it doesn't really have that association for me, and I think they just look really cute. cute. It's so versatile. Men's shirts have that perfect gingham striped pattern naturally, so it just seems like the perfect little summer dress, really. I did go to the charity shop and buy some men's shirts. However, I then decided to create some boxer shorts instead. I will get onto that in a second. With this dress upcycle, I did realize that the shirt would have to be quite big. It feels wrong when I'm in the shop to be buying an extra large, extra large, because they look so big. But what I have found is that if it's not big enough, I struggle with the length. I will be trying this out again. I will go back to the charity shops and get some really large shirts to then just take them in the sides, really. Like I mentioned earlier, I then created some boxer shorts instead, and I feel like they've been huge this year for a summer trend. I really wanted to buy some, and then I saw how much brands are charging for them, which fair enough. I do think clothing should be so much more expensive than what we are used to with fast fashion, but I personally just don't have that budget at the moment. So I wanted to make some myself. First couple tries were an absolute fail. I don't have a lot of experience making trousers or shorts in general. I think I've made a couple pairs of trousers before, and I do wear them, they just don't fit perfectly. And for these boxer shorts, I wanted them to be snug around the waist but still baggy enough so they're not tight little shorts. So yeah, like I said, the first couple of tries didn't really work out, and then I used a different pair of trousers to trace these shorts, and that worked out so much better. This is the final outcome. So these are the first ones. These cute little plaid shorts. These do fit a bit more like low-waisted, but they are still quite cute. And then I also made these gingham ones, which I also absolutely love. These are a bit more snug around the waist, so they don't have that sort of loose, oversized fit that I was looking for, but I am pretty happy with these. And next time that I have some more funky fabric, I will be making a few more of these, maybe even a bit more oversized so they sit more low-waisted. I didn't realize that when I made these that I do actually prefer things to sit a bit lower, or at least in the mid part of my stomach. These shorts came in really handy when I went on my holiday in Sicily, and I would definitely be bringing them along on my next holiday in Spain as well. So these are all the trends that I wanted to talk about in this video. They're mainly the things that I'm currently completely obsessed with. I don't know if they're all trending in other people's minds, but that's just the kind of stuff that I've been seeing a lot and have been obsessing over, especially with the mesh knit dresses. I think I will be making a lot more of them, and a few tops, and the ribbons I am just completely obsessed with still. So even combining the two would be really fun to further work with in the future. I would love to hear what other people have been loving in terms of knit and crochet trends, or even sewing trends this year. I am a little bit stuck on what my next few projects will be, so any inspiration is more than welcome. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video.